The government just cut fuel tax in half. But when you actually break this down, it's a lot more interesting than just cheaper petrol. So here's what's actually happened. The government has temporarily halved the fuel excise, which is the tax built into every litre of petrol for 3 months. That's a reduction of around 25 cents per litre. They've also removed the road user charge for heavy vehicles during this period and introduced a broader fuel security plan to manage supply if things get worse globally. Now, this didn't just happen randomly. Fuel prices have been rising because of global supply issues, particularly geopolitical tensions and disruptions in oil markets. So the government is stepping in to try and relieve pressure on households. Their own words, Australians are under serious cost of living pressure right now. So what does that really mean for you? Roughly speaking, you're saving about $15 to $20 every time you fill up your car. Across 3 months, that adds up, especially for families or people commuting daily. So yes, in the short term, this genuinely helps. But there are a few things people don't realize. One, it's not instant. You won't necessarily see the full price drop immediately because petrol stations still have existing fuel stock at higher prices. Two, not guaranteed for it to be fully passed on. There's also not a lot forcing petrol stations to pass on the full 25 cents. Competition usually pushes the prices down, but that doesn't mean you'll see every cent. And three, price cycles still apply. And in Australia, especially in Sydney, fuel prices move in cycles. So depending on timing, the benefit can feel smaller than expected. So what does this really mean? Really? Here's the bigger picture. This policy costs the government billions, roughly $2.5 billion in lost revenue, and it only lasts 3 months. So this isn't a structural fix. It's a temporary intervention. And this is where it gets really interesting. Last week, I spoke about a report suggesting Australia could generate tens of billions in additional revenue by taxing gas exports differently, 63 billion to be exact. So on one hand, there's potential for significantly more revenue. On the other, we're cutting taxes to provide short-term relief. So you have to ask, is this actually solving the problem or just managing the pressure right now? Because in 3 months, the fuel tax comes straight back. And that's the key point. This helps, no doubt, but it doesn't change the underlying issue. Short-term relief is important, but long-term solutions are what actually matters. And this feels less like a solution and more like the Labor government buying time.